deploy drones at the control points to drain the enemy's resources.
I got a decent chunk of hands-on time with Valkyrie this week, and I'm pleased to report it left me really excited. I've been a bit lukewarm about VR up until now because A, I like being able to see what's actually around me, and then B, there's the worry of looking like a complete melon with a massive plastic thing strapped to my face. But my time with the Valkyrie has me seriously able to consider a future in which I buy an Oculus, which I guess is the point? I played two different game modes during the preview session, a straightforward team deathmatch and the obligatory control point format. Neither is especially ambitious fare, though it should be noted that you capture control points by firing out a little drone, letting it do the camping for you while you go off and contest other control points or go shoot up the enemy team. But when you go for standard multiplayer modes like this, you really have to make sure the core experience is actually fun, otherwise your players are just going to put the controller down and go back to a multiplayer game they find more robust. It helps then that, even ignoring the VR bits for the time being, CCP has built a really solid dogfighter. The flight controls are responsive and intuitive. It was quick to pick up, yet I was able to pull off manoeuvres I'm not really capable of in other flying games. When I get into dogfights in Elite Dangerous, for instance, I often feel like I have an instinct for what I want to do, but don't really have the skill to pull it off. Valkyrie's controls and ship builds, however, make you feel like a Viper pilot from Battlestar Galactica, like Starbuck or Apollo or, I don't know, I guess Hot Dog was okay? There are three distinct classes of ships in Valkyrie, by the way: Assault, Heavy and Support, which are exactly what they sound like. Apparently you'll be able to blur the lines between those class distinctions through the customization system, which should help shake things up a bit. I didn't get the chance to play around with it much, though I did fly two different builds of the Assault class, one of which quickly became my favourite with its beefier cannons and woefully variable rate of fire. Whichever class you pick though, the ships in Valkyrie are really fun to fly. I found myself able to kite missiles into obstacles rather than letting them blow me up, and I quickly became fond of stalking my way through the various bits of asteroid or ship debris, setting up ambushes for the rival team. It was nice. Layer the VR stuff on top of that, and you come to realise how good a job the developers have done with making you look around more, which they told me was a big problem before. People would just kind of hunker down and look straight forward. Each ship has a really big glass canopy helping you keep an eye on your opponents, whether you're hot on someone's tail or looking out for a surprise attack. But more importantly, most of the ships have a secondary weapon, the targeting system for which is tied to where you're physically pointing your head. Activate the targeting system and look at your opponent and you'll start to get a lock on them, allowing you to fire off a salvo of missiles or a debuffing laser beam. It's tricky at first to remember where the nose of your ship is pointed while you're glaring hatefully through a targeting reticule at a guy who's practically behind you, but once you get used to it, a lot of tactical options get opened up. I'll admit, wrenching my head around so much left me feeling a bit disorientated and even a little queasy at points, but all things considered, Valkyrie does a good job of requiring you to move about a bit without straying into pointlessly tacked on mechanics. There's a good balance there. The only place it perhaps strays into unnecessary head-waggling territory is in the menus, which layer bits of augmented reality on top of the virtual reality you're already experiencing. Even just reading that out loud makes it sound convoluted. Anyway, unfortunately I'm not able to show you the menus at this point, but basically, you look at something to highlight it, then press a button on your controller to interact with it. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's a bit finicky. I wasn't always entirely sure how to advance to the bit of menu I wanted, for instance. All in all though, I had fun with Valkyrie. Chances are, if you are stumping up for an Oculus Rift, then you're already a convert to the VR idea, in which case I imagine you'll be pleasantly surprised when you jump in and play it. If you hate VR and everything it stands for, however, you're going to get considerably less from the experience, and I am also compelled to ask why you watched this entire video about something you hate. Anyway, you did so regardless, and for that I am grateful. If you also fancy liking and subscribing for plenty more from Eurogamer, that would make me very happy. No pressure.
Welcome to the future. With the exception of Far Cry Blood Dragon, which was a digitally downloadable spin-off, every other game in the Far Cry series since Far Cry Instincts has shipped with a level editor and some form of multiplayer. As regular viewers will know, multiplayer in Far Cry games was a big thing for me. I used to bang on about it all the time.